Good Saturday afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Marketing Corner. Guys, we're going to be 3 for 3 for today after having Steve Nunez, Meredith Martyr, and we have Marc Enzor from Geeks to You as our special guest. But first, let me introduce our co-host, good buddy of mine, unfortunately, he's a Diamondbacks fan, Roger LaFaye. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I've been super excited for this, Roger.
I'm looking forward to it.
Super excited to this. I know this may have been something you weren't looking forward to because you had a big golf day yesterday.
Yeah.
Bunch of prizes.
And
then you went and saw your Diamondbacks yesterday. So thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
You look a little tired, so sip on your soda throughout the show. My job is to get you through this next hour, buddy.
I appreciate it.
So today we have Marc Enzor, and every week I go through and I troll my guests, especially if I haven't met them yet. And the beauty of this show is that when the guests come on and this is our first conversation, it's super authentic. And so the purpose of the show is to have that initial conversation to learn all about our guests and bring our audience tremendous value and information, right? So what I love about what I saw on your LinkedIn, Marc, is there's basically 2 bullet points. You graduated with an engineer degree and then you started Geeks to You. That's about it, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, tell us about your entrepreneurial journey. I mean, it was an engineering degree in 08, right? No, 07. No, but you started in Geeks to You in 07, but you graduated in 08.
I actually started my business while I was at college.
Yeah.
And it took over, and I went crazy with it.
Yeah.
So
why? I mean, just got tired of ramen noodles and Mountain Dew?
So let me rewind back for a second and go back to when I was 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually broke a computer, and then I learned how to fix it. And I broke it and fixed it and broke it and fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that until I was like 10. And then my neighbor wanted to sell something on eBay. Now, this is like 1994 when eBay was like, .coms were just starting, right?
Yeah.
My neighbor wanted to buy and sell and stuff. So he had me come over, and I showed him how to list something on eBay and how to make his first purchase on there. And he goes, you should start a business doing this. So around 11 years old, I put an ad in the paper, and I'd actually go to people's homes and fix their computers.
Wow.
And so that was my original start. By 13, I was a network administrator of a Linux server farm. And so this is before GoDaddy was out there. This is before web hosting was like a big business.
Wow.
And so I actually was, working in someone's, their business, and I was the one that running all their server farm.
So when you went to college, you pretty much knew that this was going to be your career path, or was it just an affirmation?
No, actually.
Yeah?
I actually came out here for optical engineering, and so I was studying on that, and I had a job at an engineering company here in town, and my boss was celebrating his 10th anniversary with the company. And I was, chiding him, and I was like, you're looking forward to your next 10 years? Now, this is a guy I really looked up to. And he was an engineering manager there, and I was like, I'll be in his shoes in 10 years. He'll be a program director. I was kind of envisioning this whole life for me. And he goes, no, I can't wait to quit.
Wow.
And I was like, what?
Wow.
And it was like one of those head-turning moments. I was like, what did you just say?
What?
And he was like, yeah, I don't want to work for someone my whole life. I want to start a business. And I was like, oh. I was like, you want to start an engineering company? Let's go. Like, I got some good ideas. I'm sure you have some. Let's put some together.
Yeah.
And he goes, nah, maybe landscaping.
Huh.
And I just lost my entire brain right there.
Wow.
I tossed and turned all night long. At around 5 a.m, I posted an ad on Craigslist to help people repair their computers and within 6 months I quit my job and I was full steam ahead with it.
Wow. Roger, you told me this dude is kind of cool. You didn't tell me any of this.
Yeah.
So real quick before we get to the next question, if anybody out there is listening and you got a question for Marc, call in 520-790-2040, not just about his tremendous entrepreneurial journey, but one of the topics we're going to hit today is about cybersecurity, which is a huge issue for every single business out there, right? So why don't we get into a little bit of that right now? I mean, tell us a little bit about why a business really needs to have this on their radar first and,
Sure.
Yeah.
So around 2018, hackers figured out that they could make money hacking. Prior to that, they really hadn't monetized it. And so since 2018, they invented something called ransomware. And ransomware is a little virus that goes on your computer and encrypts all of your files, and then you have to pay them to decrypt the files. They use heavy encryption that is rarely ever broken. It's not common. If you got ransomware, your chances are you're not going to get your data back from them without paying. So they turn that into a business. The person who invented the software goes, okay, I could start this as a company and ransomware many people, but why don't I try franchising this? So they actually used a franchise model.
Wow.
And so they enlisted hackers around the world to say, I'm going to write the software. All you have to do is deploy it, and you have to kick me back 20% of the profit to pay for the software. So if they have teams of customer service people that are out there collecting the payments, giving them decryption keys and all that stuff, and they basically just rake money.
So the Beekeeper, have you seen the movie, The Beekeeper?
I have not.
Have you seen Rod? It's Jason Statham, and basically it's that. And I thought it was just kind of a made-up corporation that, that they did exactly what you just did, to, of course, a fictional character, and she ended up, doing a bad thing to herself and everything, but they stole millions of dollars. But it was like a call center that reached out to her and did exactly what you just said.
Yep. The biggest misconception about hackers that's out there right now is that you think that they're like some kid in a hoodie,
basement,
in a basement, in a dark lit room with some neon keyboards and stuff in front of them. That's not the case at all whatsoever.
Wow.
This is a business. They run it like a corporation. They wear a suit and tie to work.
Wow.
They go there. The biggest misconception is that people think it's a crime for them. It's only illegal in America. It's not illegal for them in their country. So Russia specifically allows people to hack other countries, and it's completely legal, completely legitimate, as if you're going to your normal day job.
Unreal.
They have an HR department.
Unreal.
Someone hacked the hackers and they downloaded their employee handbook, and it has their dress code in it. It has, if they want to take vacation days. I mean, this is big business. They have a high rise that they go to and work.
Wow.
And it's only illegal in Russia to hack people inside of Russia.
Wow.
Outside of that, it's wide open.
Wow. So,
and I'm picking on Russia right now, but I would venture to guess there's at least 30 countries in the world where it's completely legitimate, completely legal, and it's just a way of life for them.
Yeah. You sent me a stat just about 10, 20 minutes ago. About 78% of U.S. businesses had a cyber attack last year.
Yes.
Why?
So there's so much money involved in this. This is a business. They run it. They push out cyber attacks nonstop every day. I think that stat is a little misleading. I think it's actually 100%. It's just that only 78% realized they had a cyber attack.
Yeah. Yeah. The marketing agency I'm with right now, we had, I don't know if I should be admitting this, but one of the servers we had, had some ransomware, I believe, on it, and dozens and dozens of our clients' websites. Fortunately, we found it right away and took care of it.
Nice.
But it was scary. It was very, very scary. So we got about a minute and a half. Again, if you have any questions for Mark, 520-790-2040 about his entrepreneurial journey, about how to protect your business. But this last minute, I just want to say congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
You won this week. It was the 2024 Reader's Choice Award, and you won this how many years in a row now?
Since 2018, we've won it every year.
Congratulations. That's
Thank
a
you.
huge.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, that's enormous. So kudos, man. Hats off to you and your team.
That.
How many locations do you have here in Tucson?
So we have up in Phoenix and in Tucson. So Tucson's our home base. That's our headquarters. And, we service residential across the state. And then we service our businesses, our enterprise management. That's nationwide. Okay.
All right, Roger. So we're going to come back after the break here in about 30 seconds. And we're going to talk a little bit about you, about, how your team did yesterday, your golf team.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about your Diamondbacks and everything.
Okay.
But this segment was, of course, sponsored by LaFaye Processing, DBA MiCamp. We'll get into a little bit more about what you do, Mr. LaFaye, after the break. And again, any questions, 520-790-2040. And we are back with the Marketing Corner. My name is Shawn Campbell. Special co-host today, Mr. Roger LaFaye. You and I have known each other for nearly 10 years. Do you realize that?
That's gone by fast.
Yeah. You look better.
Thanks.
I do not so much. If you're watching this on YouTube at the Marketing Corner with Shawn Campbell, and you can see the video, see Mr. LaFaye looks like he's 32 still, and keeps in shape, dude.
Kind of had a big birthday the other day.
He had a big birthday. What was that? What was that? Could I get that out of you?
August 27th, I turned 60.
No way, dude.
Ah,
Did you really?
yeah, crazy.
I'm not just saying this to butter you up. I have no, reason to do, but you look phenomenal, dude.
Well, thanks. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So, and I appreciate your friendship over the years. It means a lot to me, our relationship, and whenever, and I'm saying that because the next time you have tickets to the Diamondbacks game, let me know.
Got some games coming up. Wild card.
Tell the audience what you do.
Well, I work for MiCamp Solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So LaFaye Processing is my company, and we broker with MiCamp Solutions. We're locally owned, USA-based merchant services company.
Mm-hmm.
And we work with small businesses to extremely large businesses.
Yeah.
Broker out. We find out what our customers need and customize a deal for every one of our deals.
Yeah.
And we are our own bank. So.
Yeah.
Pricing is going to be phenomenal. Customer service you can't beat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one thing he's leaving out, guys, is that he cares. You just care so much about whether you're working with a solopreneur or somebody who has, a chain of stores. I mean, you really put a lot of your heart into what you do. So
I do.
Very admirable, Mr. LaFaye.
Thank you. I'm very fortunate I get to go to work every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't have to. I
Don't
get
have
to go to
You
work.
get
Love
to.
it.
Yeah. And special thanks to your wife who came in and she's rooting you on back there going, go, go, go. I can't believe you haven't met because we talk about her all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And when she walked in, I'm like, oh, yeah, hey, how you doing? And she's like, we haven't met yet. And I'm
No.
like, but I know all about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for our special guest?
Actually, I do. So Mark and I have known each other, I guess, about 2016, 2017, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we were in a networking group, and we did lunch many times and got to know each other really well. But, you were telling me a little while back about your verticals. I guess you do a lot with CPA firms and the medical fields and stuff like that. So tell me a little bit more about that.
So what's happening in the IT space is that compliance standards are going rampant right now. So America is trying to stop the cyber crimes from happening, right? We're being attacked in a war, and the only way to do that, to prevent it, is to implement compliance. And so that's been a huge area for us, is any industry that's that's getting these compliance mandates down there. So recently the FTC safeguards rule was passed. Now this was originally the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act in 2001 that covered banks. And they pushed that out in 2021. They remodified it to add all of these strict compliance. And then it recently went into law on May of this year. So that now affects anybody that does anything with financial sector. So it goes from the banks, obviously. It goes to CPA firms because they're tax preparers. And then it goes all the way down to even car dealerships.
Wow.
So if you're doing anything with financing in any way, payday lenders, all of the like, if you have over 500 records, these in your database, which is nothing, right? Anybody has 500 records on their computer, and so that now this new safeguards rule affects them. And so we've been preparing for this since 2021 and have been pushing these things out, and so that's been a huge area for us.
Wow, no kidding.
Yep.
Wow.
Even debt collection law firms, they are also part of it as well.
Hmm.
So anyone that does anything with money, they have this. But law firms is another big area for us because they have their own internal compliance through the Arizona State Bar or whatever state bar they're in. They have their own compliance. And then, logistics is another big area for us. We work with a lot of logistics firms, and the problem with them is that if they can't track a shipment, they can't move a truck. And so when they experience a cyber crime, their entire fleet is down. They cannot move a truck without tracking. So
Wow.
they're the ones that are really under attack because these cyber criminals, not only do they want money, they also want to hurt us. And so they want to stop shipments. If they can stop a shipment, maybe they can stop a grocery store from selling. Maybe they can do whatever they want. It gives them a lot of opportunity.
Yeah. I was going to try to say this for the last segment, Mark, but with all the small business owners and entrepreneurs out there, I hope that every one of them, has this in the forefront of their mind. What are some things that, let's start with some of the common errors that we make with, our systems, right? With our IT that lead to an exposure and some vulnerability, for a cyber attack.
So I would say the most common thing is people misunderstanding where their vulnerability points are. And I say vulnerability, I don't mean in terms of computer vulnerabilities. Obviously, that's part of it, but there's a lot of vulnerabilities that a business has that they don't know that's out there. For example, let's say you were to be, like, one attack vector would be someone who has a business and has QuickBooks problems. They quickly Google search for QuickBooks tech support. And the scammers out there know this. They know these people are searching for this. So they actually do paid ads on Google, on the search engines.
Wow.
And they put their phone number. They actually have their own websites that look identical to Intuit. And so you go to this website, you click the link, there's a phone number there, you call them, and you're actually not speaking to Intuit tech support, but you're speaking to a scammer.
Wow.
The scammer then says, hey, I need to get remote access to your system to review your QuickBooks so I can help you fix the problem. And obviously you think that's normal. And so you let them remote into your computer, and from there, they run this little tool that you don't even see it run. It happens in the background, and they steal every single stored browser password on your computer. And everybody out there stores their bank account credentials in their password manager. Everybody does it. And so the second they get into your bank account, they do this without you even noticing that it's happening, and they then wire all your money overseas. The one crazy thing out there is that overseas wire transfers are not FDIC insured. So you have no insurance to this. There's no coverage. Your money is gone. There's no one you can call. Now, the FBI does investigate these things, but 2 years ago they implemented something that they said, we're not going to touch a single cyber crime unless it involves over $1 million in wire fraud. So if you have $500,000 in your bank account and it's gone, the FBI won't even take your phone call.
Wow. There's some good stuff. Thanks, Roger, for scaring the out of me this morning.
I didn't know it was that deep.
Yeah. This is just one attack vector. That's just one little thing.
Right.
They have 1,000+ ways to come at you.
I work a lot with clients with their social media in particular, and when he's actually a co-sponsor, David Bradley, messaged me numerous times this week. He's like, with screenshots, hey, what's this? I'm like, don't click on the link, just ignore it, and just in social, in Messenger, it could be in the comments, it could be just a variety of ways. If it looks weird, if you have any questions, I'm glad that he reached out to me, but 99.99% of the time it's a scam. It's someone trying to, this is what you were saying, Mark, get their passwords, get into their accounts and kind of take it over, and then use that, set a ransom for, hey, if you want your Facebook business page back, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars.
There's even a restaurant right here in town that their social media was hacked, and they posted really nasty stuff on it, stuff that would cause people to picket outside their business.
Oh no.
they definitely have, they went after those crowds and put some really racially charged content out there. And so ultimately that restaurant, they shut their doors. Now I'm sure it probably may not have been due to that, but the statistic that's out there is 60% of their businesses close their doors within 6 months of a cyber attack.
Jeez.
So this isn't quite public, but it's becoming more and more common. You remember Old Tucson Studios?
Yeah.
So during the pandemic, when they shut their doors, they actually had a cyber attack just before that. They lost all of their digitized footage historically.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So I'm not saying that they closed their doors because of the cyber attack, but it did happen right before.
Yeah. Wow. So what are some things that, is a matter of putting together better processes, best practices, or is one of the first, calls from a small business who has these vulnerabilities is to simply give you a call first?
Yeah. So, our process that we do when we have someone that's looking to wonder, like, hey, I need to do something about this.
Yeah.
So we do what's called a cybersecurity audit. We look at their systems. We figure out where are the vulnerabilities in your business. Think of your house, right? If you want to secure a home, it's a really easy concept. Lock your doors, lock your windows, get an alarm system. right?
Right.
So we have to look at it from that perspective of your network, of your computers, of your data specifically, of your bank accounts. What bank accounts are you with? Where is that money hosted? Are you being proper with it? Are you making sure that you do have FDIC insurance on there? Do you have cyber insurance? Things like that. And so we look at it from a very holistic approach on there.
Wow. What are some more positive things, like, someone right now listening, whether it's on the podcast or listening right now, if they're in front of their workstation, is there anything that they can kind of check out right now?
One of the easiest, simplest things you can do that will reduce a cyber attack by probably 50% is implementing multi-factor authentication. So MFA is what we call it. And so you know how when you log into your email or your bank account and you get a text message code?
Yeah.
That's MFA.
Okay.
It's a secondary authentication.
Okay.
Now, the area where this fails is that people are becoming so common with their MFA right now that everybody has it. I have an app on my phone that has at least 100 codes in there alone.
Yeah.
Every website, every service always has an MFA. And it gets really easy for people to let the hackers in with a fake MFA prompt. So one of the other things to be cognizant of is that attackers do what's called a SIM jack attack. So for example, when you get that text message code, that text message is being delivered to your SIM card. That's how that whole thing works. And so these attackers, they're paying people at Verizon, at AT&T, they pay them $40,000 a week to give them access to people's text messages. So they send the text message to it's called a SIM jack attack, because they're sending it to their phone and not yours.
Wow.
And so it happens so instantaneously, you don't know, you never even received the message, but then they log in and they take it.
Wow. So...
But implementing, safe MFA is something that's really important.
Something as simple as changing your passwords, is that something that you recommend like on a consistent basis?
I do.
Maybe not use the same password for every single thing that you're logging into as well?
So I have a whole algorithm on how I tell people to develop a password. The basics of it is change it often. Have a really long, secure phrase. For example, life is a peach. That they'll pretend they will say that that's our phrase. So you can do life is a peach, or exclamation mark, add a year and a quarter. So this right now is 2024-03. And so you could do life is a peach 2024-03, and then you could do like Amazon or email or Walmart. You keep adding that stuff in there at the end of it, so you know the password. It's crazy long and it's easy to remember.
Okay.
And it's different for every website.
Yeah. When I was in corporate, we had to change our passwords every month, and then we had to make sure that every password was different, and I had to log into 14 different systems every morning. So I'm just kind of in the habit on my end. So when I started my own business, I've been in the habit every month. It's just kind of like clockwork here. So we were wrapping up the second segment. At the bottom of the hour, we'll be coming back with more from Marc and Roger LaFaye. Welcome back to the Marketing Corner. My name's Shawn Campbell. I love what I do every Saturday. Do you dig this, Roger?
This is fun. This is a good time.
It's good times, good stuff here. We get to, provide good value and information, small business owners, entrepreneurs out there. I know a lot of the first half, we talked a lot of cybersecurity issues, ultra important, and, should be more than just on everybody's radar. It should be like the forefront of, how to properly run your business, right? But Marc Enzor, let's get into a little bit more about your entrepreneurial journey.
All right.
You've done pretty well over the last 20 years or so, almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So, again, let's kind of go back to the beginnings of, when you got started. You were still in college. You had kind of had the epiphany after your little discussion with a professor, correct?
I'm employer.
An employer. Tell us about, some of the things that you did really, really well, especially in the beginning of, getting Geeks to you off and running, and maybe some of the missteps along the way that you want to advise our audience. Hey, don't do it this way. Maybe there's a better way to do it.
So I'll let you in on my biggest secret.
The secret sauce.
This is my secret sauce.
There you go.
All right. And a lot of business owners out there and especially in the IT segment, every one of them is looking to hire an all-star. They're looking to bring an all-star on their team, right? That is impossible unless you're the New York Yankees, all right? It doesn't work that way. What you can do, though, is you can become a training institute in your business and create all-stars.
I got chills. I love that. You know, you have no idea how much I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
It is super critical. In fact, you know, I like to point out that my business is really a college. Internally, we are like, we bring people that have never worked in tech before. As long as they have that Google foo, that really go-getter attitude, that hard work, that they want to be in the tech industry, they want to do this, we'll give them a chance.
Wow.
We start them small. You know, they'll start out. We'll train them 100% of the way.
Wow.
And it allows you to keep staff for a longer period of time. We have some of the best retention rates of staff of other IT companies that I've ever seen. You know, and it allows you to just create your own all-stars.
We're going to get a little off track here. I mean, how important then is culture?
Incredible.
To you?
Incredible.
Love this.
Yeah.
I had no idea this was the direction we were going with. But you have no idea. I mean, because I preach this all the time for small businesses. I was in a discussion just this week, and I want to see what type of industry we're talking about, putting together like a training program. But the number one thing I want to talk about is how to properly train employees, about culture. And the person I was talking to, well, why is that important? I'm like, what are you talking about? How is it not? You know, how does that rub off on your customer service then?
I think that we have the best customer service there is in the industry.
Yeah.
You know, we literally hire people that have customer service. That's our number one question on every single interview is, how would you rate yourself on a 1 to 10 on customer service? And anything less than a 10, you're not getting very far with us.
When you realized you couldn't hire that all-star, that you weren't, like, quote-unquote, the New York Yankees, you know, did you go to anybody for advice on how to put together this program? Or, I mean, how did you come up with this idea? It's like, look, you know, I can't hire, you know, or I can't hire the Aaron Judge, but I got to hire a lot of guys that hit 280 and steal a few bases and play good defense.
Well, it's almost like you want to hire Aaron Judge, but you want to hire him in the farm system. You don't want to hire Aaron Judge at 32 years old when you're going to pay him $800 million, you know, for the last 10 years of his career. You want to catch him when he's 21. That's the goal. So you have to really interview well, and you're gonna have some bad apples that come through your interviews. You got to fire quick. What is it? Hire slow, fire quick. That's always you know, one of those coachable things.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've had a stellar business coach over the years that really helped us work this out and work on our training program. And you know, just having that the director of operations that is able to implement and work those things, it's been a huge help.
Yeah. Yesterday I was on a panel at the University of Arizona. It was a college immersion day, and one of the topics of discussion was what makes a good resume. So when a resume comes across your desk or your HR, you know, the people that are, you know, reviewing those for you, Mark, what are some of the things that they're looking for, and what are some of the red flags on a person's resume?
So the red flags is easy. Misspellings, dates that don't match up, things that just seem out of order. That's all easy. Like errors, those matter on the resume. That's really what we look at the resume for, is for errors. I'm not going to sit there and say we don't read the resume, because we do. But what's more important than the resume is the cover letter. If someone sends me a cover letter that says, this is my dream to be in this industry, I want to do this, I will do whatever it takes to get this job, you got an interview. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. There was 2 people in corporate that was on this panel, and then there was me. My answer to that is like, I don't really look at their resume. I throw it in the trash, and I just want to talk to the person. Maybe not the greatest advice, but I want to see what that person's made of. I want to have a genuine conversation with them that's totally off script, and see how they you know, work on their toes, so to speak. Yeah. You have any questions about this whole process, Mr. LaFaye?
Well, and I've got a lot of different questions for you, but trying to stay with this topic here. No, the business coach you were talking about, I think we've all have worked with him, and he's given a lot of good golden nuggets to all of us over the years.
Oh, yeah.
And
you can say his name, give him a plug. I know what you're talking about.
Bellows.
Yeah.
Paul Bellows.
Listening? Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Bellows is. I've had the pleasure of talking to him a few times, and
quite the guy.
My brain's tired after I talk with Paul Bellows.
Yes,
it's literally, I just want to go home and sleep. The guy's phenomenal. You know, it just poof.
Yeah.
I'm going to charge him for that little plug.
There you go.
He's going to get an invoice. Like, what's this?
Perfect. No,
I think
he's
I'll pay it. You better.
great guy, great connector, and
Yeah.
definitely, like I said, Mark and I have known each other for about 8-9 years now, and just watching his business grow.
Yeah.
A lot of us from the little tidbits of information that Paul would give, and during that time, I remember asking, "What did he tell you that Because I'm like, obviously, I missed it. And it went over my head. And after having chats with you and a few others, I'm like, oh my gosh. So, I'm really excited for your family and the growth of your business, and I'm very fortunate that I get to be your credit card processor.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. There's that little
The best out there, I
Thank
might
you.
add.
as well.
We get lots of cold calls and emails from credit card processors, and the amount of shysters in the industry, it's
Oh, my
enormous.
Yeah.
But Roger is one of the true ones.
He's all right. Yeah. So when you went to scale your business, there's obviously a point where like, hey, we're just one location. Now we needed multiple. We need to go to Phoenix. I mean, we'll get into more of that after this segment, but when was that point? Was it just, the amount of work coming in? You needed more employees. I mean, was it Paul that helped you at that point, and how to scale your business? Because to me, that's always been one of my personal, obstacles is when should I hire that next person? What was it based off metrics? Was it based off feel? What was that?
So we developed a number of KPIs in-house, key points of interest, right? We have all these things. We actually know our average time to hire.
Oh, wow.
And so that it allows you to say, you take all your staff members and all the amount of months that they've been at the company, and you divide it by the quantity of staff, and it gives you this number, like 2.5, which means you need to hire someone every 2.5 months.
Interesting.
It's simply because you're going to have some churn of staff, but you're also going to have new people you're hiring. And so it allows you to kind of say, well, it's been 2 months. I should probably get on the ball because it's going to take a month to hire someone. From the time that you post on, Indeed or wherever you do,
right,
to the time that you actually get interviews done, the time you make a pick, it's like a 30-day process.
Wow.
And so if you start that when you need to hire someone, you have a problem.
Wow.
You're behind the ball.
Yeah, there's some good stuff. I know we pivoted from the cybersecurity aspect of it from the first part. We're going to get more into Marc's entrepreneur journey after this last break. And welcome back to the last segment of the Marketing Corner. Every week we've just have brought you a ton of good value, a ton of good information. Every single episode's been a little bit different, but it's all adding value for you, and hopefully we are helping you grow your business and reach your dreams and all your aspirations. Real quick before we get into the meat of it, obviously I always want to thank John, our engineer, the Marketing Corner sponsors, including David Bradley, Medicare A to Z, Candace Eaton from Eaton Photography, Jamar Jordan, tax specialist, Danny McPadden from Last Bridge Media, and Mark Weiss from Sales Performance Strategies, and of course Mr. Roger LaFaye, LaFaye Processing, DBA MiCamp. That was pretty good. You got any more questions for
Actually, I
Mr.
do. Not really self-serving, but in the credit card industry, we've got a thing called PCI compliance, and Mark's kind of one of my go-to guys when I need help with that. You can talk a little bit about the importance of that.
Sure, absolutely. So this is critical for your business because two things, and Roger will back me up on this. You'll pay a fine if you don't do your PCI compliance. And so that fine is, I don't know, is it $100 or something like that?
Yep.
And then on top of that, which is a negligible fine, but then they also add in points on your transactions. And I want to say it's like 0.75 or something. It's quite large. And so if you're doing a considerable amount of credit card transactions, you're overpaying on it if you don't do your PCI compliance.
Yes.
Now, the beautiful thing about PCI compliance is that Roger's team does most of the heavy lifting for you. They've got all of the background, all of the end-to-end encryption between your data and the merchant is all being handled by them. And so all you have to do is just verify that your computer network is safe. And so they want you to run a little tool on your computer. They want you to just verify a few things. And most people will meet it relatively with ease. It's not that hard to achieve it.
Correct.
Yeah. How many employees do you have, Mark?
I got 35.
35. So are you, what's your title and you're president?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
Do you see yourself as more of the visionary or more of the integrator of your organization?
Definitely visionary.
Do you have an integrator? Do you have
yes.
a guy who...
It's critical. Have you ever looked at the, I forget what kind of what the chart is, but it had the disk chart.
Yeah.
The,
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
I'm in the far upper right corner, which is like perfect for visionary.
Yep.
And my number 2 is in the bottom left corner, which is perfect for people that actually can do the implementation.
Is the title for your integrator more like a CFO? I mean, the CFO, COO maybe, or
Director of Operations.
Director of Operations, yeah.
Yep.
How often do you guys butt heads?
You know, a little bit, but not too often.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it is more like we recently pushed out what's called we call residential MSP, which is a managed service plan for residential customers. And so, for example, if they wanted to protect themselves, they could get a plan like this.
Yeah.
And so I saw the opportunity, and I gave them like, you know, this is what I want this thing to look like, and I said go. And I didn't check back in. And they came back a month later and had it implemented.
Yeah.
And had sold it, and it was,
Nice.
it was a great launch.
Yeah.
It came out perfect.
Yeah, but that kind of relationship in an organization, you know, as big as yours is absolutely vital, I believe.
Yes.
Because if you just have one or the other, I mean, I don't know how well the opportunity for success will be.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any like do's and don'ts from somebody who's maybe at their stage, not just in IT, but in any industry where they're like, hey, it's time to grow? What are some of the things that you did really well during your growth time, when you scaled? And what are some things that you would recommend, hey, maybe don't do this?
So you got to come up with a plan and then get the heck out of the way.
Well,
Let your team implement it.
Yeah.
That's critical.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one of those guys where it's not native to me. I want to be the hero. I want to be the champion.
Yeah.
I want to...
A true visionary right there. Yeah.
I see this. I see the opportunity, and then I want to build it out and do it all myself.
Yeah.
And I can't.
Yeah.
I literally can't do anything.
Yeah.
And it's really, really frustrating because it goes against my nature. But there's a great book, Who Not How.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, that explains everything.
Yeah.
And so it's all about just come up with a plan and then get the heck out of the way. Let them do it. They're going to fail,
Yeah.
but you have to pick them up when they fail.
Right.
When they make a mistake, then you're there to be like, okay, I see what you're doing here. Let's try it this way and that way. But if you're the one doing it because you're too much of a perfectionist, then it won't get done.
You seem very much like a servant leader, where your
yeah.
organizational chart is kind of flipped upside down.
I mean, by nature it is.
Yeah.
But I have to constantly remind myself, like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. What is your biggest win since you started Geeks to you?
So, biggest win. So I would say, about 3 or 4 years into the company, we started doing what's called managed IT for businesses. And that is taken up, and now I think it's around 80% of the company.
Wow.
And so then we actually rebranded as Guardian IT, and it's all under one LLC, but we do service the enterprise market, and that's probably been our biggest win, is just seeing the market shift and going, and just being as fast as we can at it.
Yeah.
If you're doing the work, you're going to be slower.
Is there?
It's a race.
Do you have an ideal client? Do you work from everybody from the solopreneur to the larger businesses, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. On the managed IT side, our smaller, we have plenty of one person companies that we manage, and then one that's 500.
Yeah.
So we go all the way, and we can go bigger. It's just a matter of scaling up and being ready for it.
On a state level, Mark, is there a difference? And Roger, I want your input on this too, because you're in Phoenix as well. What's the difference between clientele here in Tucson versus the clientele in Phoenix?
Wow. Tucson is more person to person.
Yep.
It's all about the relationship.
Yep.
Phoenix is kind of like LA with heat. It's what have you done for me lately? Get out of my way.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Nothing bad. Just that's what I've experienced. But here in Tucson, it's all about the relationship. And if you prove that you care and you're here to help out, people really respect that.
On your drive up there, do you have to get yourself like a different mentality, kind of pump yourself up for that, or are you just the same person?
Same person.
Yeah.
Yep. Treat them the same, and the facade will come down, and they're just the same. But they get so inundated with go that they're that's what they're expecting. But when a real person comes in, like, oh, window comes down, let's chat like real people. This is
when I'm in front of a Phoenix client, I dress a little better than what you see me now on video. Well, you'll see me here in Tucson, so there's a few different things. I'm the same person, provide the same level of customer service, but I try to be a little more spiffy. I make sure I shave that morning. What about yourself? Is there a difference in clientele between Phoenix and Tucson?
I would definitely agree on the commercial side with Roger's viewpoint.
Yeah.
On the residential side, it's about speed. In Tucson, like on the residential side, let's say we have to get out someone's computer to repair it or something. We could be out there in 2 or 3 days, and they're happy as a clam with that. With Phoenix,
Tucson
it's
time.
like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like it's 2 p.m. What do you mean they're coming at 4? I need someone here at 2:30. like, well, that's physically impossible in the Phoenix traffic, but
but you should be like parked on the corners of all the major intersections.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. we actually had someone that was way out in Cave Creek that hired us to go up to their house and do a data recovery at 8 p.m. at night, and then they put the tech up in a hotel room near their house.
Wow.
Just so that way they could get the recovery done.
Wow.
By 6 a.m. the next morning.
Wow.
That was a residential customer too, I might add.
Wow.
Well, Marc Enzor from Geeks, to you, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking time on a Saturday afternoon and joining us. You gave a lot of the secret sauce. And how can someone get a hold of you if they want to need a little more direction?
Sure. So we got 2 websites on our residential end. It's geekstu.com, GEEKS 2YOU. And then on our commercial side, it's guardianit.com.
Yeah. And Mr. LaFaye, if someone needs to talk about their credit card processing.
You can reach me at my phone number, 520-891-9880. Also check us out at MiCamp.com. It's MiCamp.com.
And next week we have Mo Russo, serial entrepreneur, good buddy of mine. And again, your brain's gonna be tired after next week's show. Everybody, thank you for joining in. We'll see you next week on the Marketing Corner.